Welcome to the Fantasy Aceball podcast. This is your host, Tim Kanak. You can find me on X at Fantasy Aceball. And if you're watching, you can already tell that the feed is not the best quality. Sorry about that. I do apologize. I have a different setup today. I'm not recording from my office. And Doc may or may not hop on. We'll see. I've kind of switched up the schedule on him a couple times now. I unfortunately had a pet that had to be put down yesterday, kind of ruined our scheduling on the podcast, family pet. And then now I have another family emergency, and my wife had to leave with all the kids. And so now I'm stuck here with all these kids next to me, and hence the terrible setup, the terrible sound quality, the terrible video quality, and maybe some children chatter that you hear in the background, and also Doc not being here because I changed the time on him. So we'll see if Doc hops in or not, because I'm kind of just recording on a whim. But in the meantime, we will go into the podcast and talk about the T10. So it's going to be a shorter podcast because I have all these kids and because they're probably going to be a racket. So please, we will bear with me as we get to the T10. T1 is Ryan Johnson with the Angels, who in high A, and I'm going to share the screen here so you can see the stats that he put up on John PGH's sheets. But Ryan Johnson, you probably know him because he's been in the majors already this year as a reliever. Of course, the Angels did Angels things. They brought him up as a reliever. They've already kind of given up on that and made him a starter, which they probably should have done from the beginning because he's been pretty fire as a starter, at least in high A. This last week, he threw a one-hitter in 9 innings, 102 pitches, 12 strikeouts, 0 walks, obviously 0 ERA, 1 hit. So killer start from Ryan Johnson. You throw a one-hitter with 12 Ks, you're going to be number 1 on the T10 most weeks. So that's how Ryan Johnson got here. Ryan Johnson now on the season in AAA, 54 1/3 innings pitched, 24.4 K- walk rate, 15.7 swinging strike, 31.1 CSW, 199 ERA, 0.92 whip. So Ryan Johnson doing really, really good things in high A. Probably time to see him at a higher level. Kind of weird for the Angels. It's like, you're good enough to be a major league reliever. And then they sent him to high A for 54 innings before they're going to bring him up. It's like, what is going on here? Like, you don't think he's ready for double A, maybe? Triple A as a starter? You can see his JA ERA 239, so he's got a 239 Sierra there. I think he's ready for double A. So Ryan Johnson, that's our T1. Let me get to the arsenal. Ryan Johnson's arsenal. 90 to 92 mile per hour cutter is his main fastball. I give that pitch like a 50 to 55 grade. He has a 82 to 85 mile per hour vertical sweeper that I give a 55 to 60 grade. That's his best pitch. He has a 93 to 95 mile per hour sinker, 40 to 45, and an 87 to 89 mile per hour changeup, which I give a 40 to 50 on that for rating. And comp for Ryan Johnson is actually Michael McGreevy. I think he's kind of got like a Michael McGreevy arsenal. T2 is Zach Cole, who is an outfielder for the Astros. This last week, 10 for 26 with 8 extra base hits and 7 home runs. So 7 of his extra base hits, of his 8 extra base hits were home runs. That is the most home runs in a given week that we have seen all season. So Zach Cole, double A outfielder. On the season, he has 24 extra base hits, 13 bombs, 13 steals, 249, 345, 537 slash. The downside for Zach Cole, 38% K rate. Let me actually pull him up here so we can see what he has done if you're watching, even though the quality, like I said, is not the best. But if you're watching, you can see his stats. His splits are actually pretty even. So pretty even splits here for Zach Cole. Just classic Astros guy here with a terrible hit tool. 63% contact rate. So this is just your classic Astros prospect with power and speed, but 0 hit tool, like terrible hit tool. But that Zach Cole is our T2. T3 is Carter Jensen. Carter Jensen this week, 7 for 18, 7 extra base hits, 4 bombs, 1 steal, and he was promoted to AAA recently. And this last week was all at AAA, so obviously he's killing it there at that level. So really nice job for Carter Jensen, who is a catcher for the Royals. He is in my top 150 out of the T or top 150. And you'd see at AAA, he's only had 23 balls in play to date, but 93.4 average EV, 108, 90th percentile EV, and a 110 max EV. So he is hitting the ball very, very hard. We don't have a lot here to go off of data-wise because it's only 23 balls in play, but his splits are really good because his splits are across all levels. And so he hits both sides, all the powers against righties, but he's 304 against lefties. So despite all the power being on the right side, he's hitting 304 against lefties. So T4 is Robert Kalaz, outfielder number 73. He's an A-ball. 10 for 23 this last week, 5 extra base hits, with 4 of those being home runs. We're finally seeing some power from Robert Kalaz. And sorry, these kids, of course, are acting crazy for me, even though right before I started recording, I told them to sit down and shut up and to watch the movie. And they were very quiet until right when I started recording, and now they're trying to act up. So that is dad life. But Robert Kalaz is T4 on the week, as I'm going to try to get through these because these guys are going crazy. Number 5, T5 is shortstop third baseman Eric Batanti, 9 for 27 on the week, 4 extra base hits, 2 bombs, 5 steals. He is definitely going to make my next top T150, top 150. On the season, 250, 347, 451 slash, 27 extra base hits, 13 home runs, 14 stolen bases, 13% walk rate, 33% K rate. So I'm going to show Batanti here. One of the issues with Batanti is the increased strikeout rate. So you can see here he has a 33% strikeout rate. And his issue is he can't hit lefties. He's got a 264 average against righties, 176 against lefties. So Batanti has some split issues here at A-ball for the Brewers. T6 is Nolan McLean, starting pitcher with the Mets at AAA. 5 innings pitched on the week, 10 Ks, 1 walk, 3.60 ERA, 1.60 WHIP. You don't like that. But the 10 Ks you do like because McLean's issue since going to AAA has been a lack of strikeouts. On the season, 81 innings pitched, 15 K minus walks, 11.7 swing strike rate. And since he's in AAA now, we can actually bring up his arsenal on John Anderson's tableau boards. So let's bring up Nolan McLean here. Nolan McLean. You can see the arsenal here, and I actually graded out his pitches too. So he's got a pretty wide arsenal, 6 pitches that he uses. He has an 85 to 87 mile per hour sweeper is his best pitch, which I know a lot of people are like, that might be an 80 grade slider, blah, blah, blah. I think it's a 60 to 70 grade slider because while it looks really sexy when you watch it, the problem is it still only has a 13.9% swing strike rate, which isn't great, and he doesn't land it for enough strikes. McLean has a 10.8% walk rate on the season, so one of his issues is in control, especially in AAA here. Fastball, though, he throws 94 to 98. I give that a 50 to 55 grade. So his whole arsenal, you'll notice, is like a really good arsenal with a lot of potential. But he's still trying to figure out the pitch mix, and he's still trying to figure out the command because for how good the pitches are, he does not get enough swing strikes on these pitches, in my opinion. And it's like above the, like across the board, he's got like 6 good pitches with maybe like 3 of them potential plus. But the fastball and the sweeper are definitely the potential plus. The sinker also, the 93 to 95 mile per hour sinker, I give it a 55 grade. I think the sinker is better than the fastball. 55 grade sinker, 6 out of, I give it a potential 60. He also has a cutter, so 3 fastballs here, 88 to 90 mile per hour cutter. I give it a 40 out of 40 with a potential 50. Then he's got a curve, 78 to 80 mile per hour curveball, which actually I think has a lot of potential and he should throw more. But the curve, I give a 55 grade, potential 60. And then a 85 to 88 mile per hour changeup that I give a 40 grade to with a potential 50. So that's Nolan McLean with the Mets at AAA. Could come up sometime this year. Very possible. Great arsenal here. Still trying to figure it out. One of the things to realize about McLean, too, is this is his first year full-time as a pitcher because he was a pitcher-hitter type guy before this year. Number 7, this guy has a ton of hype right now, Edward Florentino. 7 for 22 this week, 4 extra base hits, 1 bomb, 5 steals. Big-time breakout guy. Just came up from Complex to A-ball. recently within the last few games, only 13 games. At the end of last week, I think he's up to like 15 or 16 now. But on the season, between complex and A-ball, he's hitting 321, 412, 586 with a near 13% walk rate and a 21% K rate, so pretty good eye. 21 extra base hits, 7 home runs, 12 steals. And keep in mind, complex is short league, so it's not like he's had the same amount of plate appearances as many of these other guys. Now we can actually bring him up. We're not going to. He's in Florida league now, so we actually will get some stats on him. And you can see the EV numbers for his age. They're all right, right? Like a 107.6 max EV is like 104.990 is pretty good though. 87.8 average EV is okay. He hits the ball in the air a ton. 47.4% fly ball rate with a 44.7% pull rate, and I think he is 98th percentile on pull to air rate of 30.6. So really good pull to air, really good pull rate. 90th percentile zone contact of 88.7. So we have a lot of a really good hit power potential here. Like really good hit profile, really good angles, really good hit tool. And he hits the ball hard for his age. 98th percentile launch angle sweet spot percentage too. So like he's really great as far as angles and hit tool. He should develop more power as he ages. So keep an eye on Edward Florentino as a high riser here, T7. Sorry if you hear the crying. T8, starting pitcher Christian Oporor with the White Sox. We've talked about him before, but in the last week, 5 innings pitched, 10 Ks, 0 walks, 3.60 ERA with a .8 whip. He has a quick flick release, 3/4 release point from the left side, 94 to 98 mile per hour velocity on the fastball. I give that pitch a 55 right now, the 60 potential. Sliders is 60 right now, I would say, 60 out of 60, 78 to 82 mile per hour slider. And the slider's really good. I don't know if it has more room on it, though, for growth. The changeup is really what he needs to improve on. He's an 82 to 83 mile per hour changeup. I give it a 40 grade out of 50. So right now he's primarily fastball slider. So it's like there is definitely relief potential there as a fastball slider guy as a lefty. But his stuff is really good, really crisp. I like Oporor a lot. I like the delivery. I think that the way the slider and the fastball come out very deceptive. It's just kind of like where I'm at on him. Is he going to be – because I think he's going to be a major leaguer. Is it major league reliever or major league starter? He's got a 2.90 JAERA, which is Sierra on the season. That's Christian Oporor in high A now with the White Sox. T9, outfielder Bo Davidson with the Giants. So let me bring up Bo Davidson here. This last week, 9 for 24 with 5 walks, 5 extra base hits, 3 bombs, 0 steals. On the season, hit 313, 414, 521, so 345 with a 14% walk rate, 22% carry, 29 extra base hits. You'll love that with 10 home runs and 11 steals for Bo Davidson. So Bo Davidson, Giants outfielder. One thing for Davidson, though, is he is older for the level, so just keep that in mind. And of course, Giants, but Giants fans, Giants people give him like Barry Bonds comps. But he is 23 years old at high A, and he is running pretty high BABIPs. So just keep that in mind with Bo Davidson. The stats are really good, but like he's definitely playing ahead of the skis, I think. Contact rate is 74%, so that's a mediocre at best hit tool, I would say, despite a really good average. So I think a lot of this is kind of BABIP fueled, but he definitely has power and speed. So that's Bo Davidson for you, and definitely a name to watch with the Giants in high A. T10, last guy in the top 10 is starting pitcher Brody Hopkins with the Rays, traded from the Mariners last year. He is in Double A. This last week, 7 innings pitched, 9 Ks, 0 walks, 129 ERA, .71 WHIP. And of course, every time that I have to do a crappy podcast for you guys, where I'm like doing it from a computer, last time Brody Hopkins was on the T10, because this is his second time on the season, was when I was in Disney World. So for whatever reason, every time I have to do a crappy quality podcast, Brody Hopkins makes the T10. But Brody Hopkins' arsenal, he's got a very funky, almost sidearm 3/4 delivery. Just missed my top 150 last time. Dude can hit 99 on the fastball. He throws 95 to 99 mile per hour fastball. I give it a 60 grade. He's got an 84 to 90 mile per hour vertical slider, like a lot of different speeds on this slider, and kind of like how he performs. A lot of it depends on how hard he's throwing the slider each game. But I give that slider a 60 grade. And then those are his two good pitches. He's got a 89 to 92 mile per hour changeup. I give a 40 grade, potential 50. And then a 94 to 96 mile per hour cutter that I give a 40 grade, potential 50. So that is Brody Hopkins with the Rays. Honorable mentions. I've got two honorable mentions for you. Number one is Aiden Miller, 8 for 21 last week, 5 walks, 4 extra base hits, 1 home run, 5 stolen bases. I don't really need to talk too much about Aiden Miller. We've talked a lot about him in the past. One thing to keep in mind this year is he's like underperforming. He's kind of sneakily heating up over the last month. On the season now, Aiden Miller has 31 stolen bases. So despite like a downtick in power this year at AA, he has way more speed. Last year, he only stole 23 bases. So last year for Aiden Miller in the full season between high A and AA, 45 extra base hits, 11 bombs, 23 steals. This year he has 18 extra base hits right now, 7 home runs, and 31 steals. So way more speed. Aiden Miller, I think he's, let's see, how old is he now? I think he's 21 now for Aiden Miller. Yes, he just turned 21. So 21 now at AA for the Phillies. First round pick, not last year, the year before. And other honorable mention for you, last guy I'm going to give you here is Reinald Navarro with the Pirates Complex League. I always have to give you a Complex League or a DSL guy every time. So Reinald Navarro in Complex League, 3 innings pitched, 8 Ks, 0 walks, 0 ERA, 0 whip. On the season now, in 24 and a third innings pitched, he has a 29.2 K minus walk, 28.9 swinging strike rate, 45.1 CSW. Keep in mind, those numbers are crazy because he's in Complex. But he's an 18-year-old lefty who throws 94 to 96, and he can top out at 98. You gotta love a lefty that young who's doing that in Complex. It'll be interesting to see if he has the pitch mix to make it work at Aceball. So that is Reinald, Reinold, Navarro with the Pirates in Complex League. So that's your T10 with the extra guys. Sorry for the kids in the background. Sorry for the crappy quality. Sorry, Doc can't make it. He was supposed to be on with me. It's my fault. And, all these crazy stuff happening in my family right now. And I know it's a shorty, but hopefully you get something out of this little podcast and it's not too long and wasting your time. I know it's a short one, but hopefully at least like something of this stuff is actionable. Ryan Johnson, I'd be adding. That's a guy who could be back up really sooner this year with the Angels, and he's looking really good as a starter. Claus, value's coming back, so that's actionable. Zach Cole, I don't know if I'm adding, but it's a name to watch. Carter Jetson is a big riser. Eric Batanti, a big riser. Nolan McLean could be up this year. I just think he should be better. Like, there's more in his profile. McLean is a guy who might not be great until he's like 26 or 27. So just keep that in mind. Like, I don't think he's going to be really, really good when he first hits the majors. I think he's going to take some time to bake. Edward Florentino, big-time riser. Opor is a name to watch. Good stuff, but 2 pitches. Bo Davidson, old for the level, but interesting name to watch. Brody Hopkins also could be up sooner rather than later. Aiden Miller, looking pretty good. So that's what I have for you this week. And hopefully I have a regular pod for you next week. Sorry for the craziness. We'll see you next time. And next week, guess what? Next time we record, we're going to have a whole new batch of prospects because it's going to be post-draft. So we'll probably talk about the draft later. Thanks for watching or listening. Peace out, everybody. See you next time.